Hello, this is London Silver, and this is What If Deku was in the SCPAU of the Dream Smp. And this is probably going to be the last one for the summer, so I hope you enjoy. And for like the little Undertale thing, I was just thinking maybe just in the community tab, just like it's a little thing you can read or long. You can read it whenever you want, and you can vote whether you want to continue it or not with the poll at the end. So if you really like it, and if you don't like it, and if it gets more votes, then I will not be continuing it. But most of you did want to, so probably will. So let's get on to this. Sorry if you hear any background sounds. It's early in the morning, and I don't know what's going on, so let's just get this started. Last time, Izuku's POV, let's go. His claw will almost be reaching my face within a few minutes, and then, at that moment, blew fire, and it made him scream and wince. I then got and ran to the opening, but then remembered I can't open it from the inside because I don't have the correct key card. I need someone to open it from the outside with the correct key card. I then turn around and try to hold him down with telekinesis and my body weight, and then put in a code for the alarm for a security breach. Security then came in and pushed me to the side, where they detained SCP-DR-34M. I slide down the wall, taking a few breaths. Wow, almost died. Okay, let's not do that again. But I can't call the shots. But I can try to become an authority figure and make my way to the top and being untouchable. Yeah, I'll be untouchable. Before one of the security escorted me out of the containment room and asked, "Scientist Midoriya, what happened?" I then say, he was angered by the sudden movement of the table and thought it was another SCP, and I said we were going to do protocol if he didn't do as I say, and he attacked me, but I got out the way in time. But then something happened. I don't know what or who did it, but I think someone protected me because he was burned, so yeah. Maybe one of the other SCPs? They then say, "Okay, I'll report that, and you can go home now." I nod and start walking in the hall. As I look at my calendar and see I still have a lot to go until that day, the whatever Technoblade said not to come on. I should ask him about it. I then look around and find him in his office, and I knock on the side and say, "Hello, Technoblade?" I then hear a, "Huh? Oh, come in." I come in and see him with a weird outfit, sort of out of culture here, and a woman that looked unprofessional and kind of out of place. Her clothes were unacceptable in a work environment, and less acceptable in a high-class government environment. I say, "Hello, Sir Technoblade, could I speak to you in private?" He sighs in relief, which I was a bit confused, and the woman walked out and slammed the door behind her in frustration. He then says, "Okay, what do you want to talk about?" I then say, about the time you informed me about a certain date, I was wondering what was that about." He sighs, like I just said something stupid. Like, dude, you just said not to come on a certain date. I could have an assignment from the O5 Council or something. Maybe you're planning a game or some shit. I don't know. He then says, "I said that because I know you're not human. Or you're human, but you're not normal. I know I can't prove it, but when you were almost attacked by Dream, you breathed a bit of fire and tiny rocks were floating around you, but no one noticed since Dream was out, and they're more concerned for him than what's going around them, the small details. So I won't beat around the bush. I want you to join the syndicate, which is accompanied by the Serpent's Hand, which is against the government and the SAP Foundation. So join me and be an anarchist. What do you say? Or maybe a neutral role in this, since I'm pretty sure you have a deal with the Foundation, or have something of value. They have something of value to you, such as information or an item, or hell, even family member or a loved one. If I know. But the one thing I know is that I want you to at least be associated and connected, because you are now family to Phil and the others. So in a way, I need to protect you, even if I don't really want to. One of the most powerful people in the organization that works for the government and then portrays it and work against it. Fuck yeah, he could kill me anytime, and he chooses to not kill me. Fuck yeah, I'm gonna work with him. I then say, okay, as long as you don't tell the Foundation. Techno's POV. This boy who looked naive and cheery was kind of hiding his true origin, but he has a cold side to his cheery and exterior. If I could just get through to that, I could recruit him and not have to worry about if he betrays me. But I do have his secret, but he doesn't seem to be phased. He doesn't seem to be phased, like he knew it was going to happen. So the only question is how he got here. He stared at me with a cold look, but seemed to snap out of it as if it was a daze, and says, well, I must go. He then bows and walks out the room with a smile, but it was more of on edge but cold. I don't know how to explain it, but there's something hidden. I must find out before the attack on the 16th. We might have a second Lemamberg. My smile grew into what others would call a wicked grin, but I then go back to my desk and start to go back what I was doing before that woman was here. Trying to figure out his background, because it doesn't add up. How he came here as a baby and grew up here, out of his world, like reincarnation, or between another person's life and replace their existence, or maybe something else happened. I need to find out before the attack. Izuku's POV. I walked out the room with a painted smile on my face and went to my office, closed the door behind me, and deflated on my desk. I mumbled on how he knows and how much he knows. Okay, so he knows that I'm not a normal human, but I don't think he knows I'm from another world. He knows about my abilities, somewhat, but he doesn't know about the others. So I can rest assured he won't know about them. I know he doesn't know about my life since it was kind of weird, so I think I'm good. So let's try and rest. Let's visit Phil. He calms me down. I then stood up and walked over to Phil's containment and went in and say, hey, could I stay with you for a little bit? I'm a bit stressed out. Could I take a nap here? He nodded and opened his wings and pointed to his lap, and I just lay down and took a nap, and slowly my anxieties and worries melted away. Technoblade's POV. After an hour, I pull all the documents away and head to Phil's containment room. I open the door to find Phil and the kids sleeping. I sigh and go back to my office to get a cloak from the back in the day, and come back inside and lean on Phil, and I do paperwork for the next 5 hours until I notice it's late and the kids should be home. I get up and wake up Phil and say, oh, Techno, why are you here? I then say, I was relaxing, but the kid needs to go. and I'll be going now, so wake him up. I'll be gone. I walk out the containment as I hear shifting. I guess Phil was shaking the kid awake. I need to walk to my office and continue my job. Izuku's POV. I wake up to the movement of Phil shaking me, and I say, "What's going on?" Phil then says, "It's late, you should go home." I get up and check my phone and see it's actually really late, and I stand up and say, "Okay, see you later, Phil." I walk out and go to my office to collect my things and walk out, and start walking off the pavement as I sit down on a bench. How long have I been here? How long have I come to this world? It's only like a few months? No, it's been like a couple months or so. I never got to do anything since I was forced into the organization. I should try to go back to my world. I want to go home. I want to see Mom again. I looked up to the sky. It started to drizzle, and I took my cloak and put it over my head as I go to my apartment. I went to the bathroom to take a shower since I caught up in the rain. And after, I got a large sweater and long baggy shorts. I started to prepare to make food for myself on the stove as I heard one of my roommates walk up to me. It was Ray. He then says, "Hey, you okay? You've been coming home late, like every night. Is there anything I can help you with?" I look at him and say, "I'm fine, I'm just getting homesick, that's all." He then offered to make me dinner, and I accepted, since I'm tired, and watch as he made some dinner. I look as he made the food and looked over to the unlit fireplace. I went over and put a few logs in there and blew fire, and it started to become bigger. I stared at the fire as it catches more on fire, and I felt myself being entranced by the fire and by the fire's crackling, and my eyes lock into the fire's movements and sounds. But then I'm called back into reality as I hear Ray say, "How did you light the fireplace?" I look around frantically in my coat and find a lighter and hold it up to show him and say, Oh, I have a lighter." He then nods and continues. I let out a breath of relief. I almost gave myself away. God, that was close. I stared at the fire and put my hand in the fire, stirring it around and making little shapes in the fire, being mesmerized as the strong scent of grease and seasoning. And I looked back, seeing Ray put out a plate on the table and gesturing for me to come and sit. I get up and sat down and started to eat. Ray sits down and says, "I think you should have a break from your work. You've been coming back to ungodly hours of the night, even in the early mornings, exhausted. And if you keep this up, your health will turn drastically. It's okay to take breaks. And if you get fired, I hope you find a new one. You're young and need rest. You may feel like you know what you're doing, but in reality, you're just getting the hang of it. So please." He looked at me with pity and worry. Have I really been ignoring my health? Maybe I should, but I can't. Quitting is basically extermination. I look back up at Ray and say, "I'll try." He then goes to the kitchen real quick and comes back with tea and says, "Here, this will help you sleep." He smiles and I drink it. I started to feel warm and yawned, and got and said I would go to sleep and took the tea with me. And he smiles as he starts to put stuff away and turn off the light and clean stuff up. I get to my room and knock out on my bed. The next morning, I woke up to my phone alarm and get up and look at the calendar and flip to next month to see the 16th marked with a red marker. It was only 28 days away, and only being a bit away from now. I then get ready and drink some coffee before walking to the site. I walked into my office to see papers on my desk and began to read. Dear Scientist Midoriya, we have decided to give you the responsibility of visiting SCP-DR34M for now on. Because of you surviving, you have been given level 4 keycard to enter when needed and whenever you would like. And do visit SCP-DR34M because they have been moved to a different containment in a different site. So you will be leaving your site for the days you will be assigned to the SCP. But you will be allowed to travel back to the other SCPs on your original site. Of course, with security. Have a good day and congratulations. And then a motherfucking smile at the end. Are they taunting me? I sigh and go to the entrance of the place and see Technoblade. And he comes up to me and say, I'll be your security for the trip to the next site. I say okay, and he goes on to a horse and says to hop on. I try, and I fail. And he sighs and pulls me up with one hand and puts me behind him, and I say, Yo, where's the seatbelts? He then looks back at me and smiles. What the hell are seatbelts? He then starts moving, and I yell, wait, ah! Okay, that's the end. And I had really fun with this one since it was funny. So, I hope you like it, and this will probably be the last one. The Undertale thing is probably just going to be on my community tab and stuff, so yeah. There will be a poll, so if there's more on the yes, then I will continue it. If there's more on the no, then I will discontinue it. And it's just I don't plan on making a video on it. I just want to do it in my community page as a fun little thing, you know. And since the Undertale nostalgia got to me, well, you know, listening to Undertale songs, so much nostalgia. But that will be all for now. And this is London Silver. Have a good day, have a good night, afternoon, wherever the hell you are. Have a good one.